The rain fell in soft sheets against the glass windows of the Marlowe agency, tracing lines down the city view. Inside the top-floor office, the lights glowed warm and golden, and yet, Amira felt cold. Her heartbeat thudded in her chest as she stared at the man sitting across from her, the man she once called boss. Liam Hart. The man who made her believe in love again. "Come here," he said gently, rising from his chair. His voice still had that calm authority that could quiet a storm, or start one. Amira hesitated, torn between reason and emotion. She took a breath, then crossed the distance between them. His hand brushed her cheek, thumb lingering just long enough to make her tremble. "You've been avoiding me," he said softly. "Because you're my husband now," she replied, eyes lowering. "And because the world is watching." He smiled faintly. "Let them watch. You're mine, Amira." His lips captured hers, slow and deliberate. For a moment, all she felt was the warmth of the man who'd once been her boss, the man she fell for against every office rule. But somewhere behind that tenderness, something darker lingered. 2 years earlier. The first time Amira saw Liam, he was standing by the elevator with a phone to his ear, giving orders that made the interns freeze mid-step. His presence filled the room, tall, confident, the kind of man who didn't just enter a space, he commanded it. She just joined the design department, her portfolio in hand and nerves in her throat. When the elevator doors opened, their eyes met briefly. His glance lingered, not in flirtation but in curiosity. "New?" he asked. "Yes, sir." "Amira Cole." He nodded once. "Welcome to Marlowe. Prove your talent, and you'll never be invisible here." He wasn't wrong. Within months, Amira's work was winning clients, earning her a promotion that caught even HR off guard. And every late-night project meant more time in Liam's office, more conversations that blurred the line between business and something heartbreakingly human. He would ask her questions no boss should. "Do you always wear your heart on your sleeve? Do you believe love can survive ambition?" And she foolishly answered. By the time she realized she was falling for him, it was too late. He already knew. Their first kiss happened on the night of the firm's biggest pitch. The power went out during a thunderstorm, and in the quiet darkness with city lights flickering below, he whispered, "You make me want to be better." Then he kissed her like a promise. Amira stared at her reflection in the mirror, Mrs. Amira Hart. A title she never thought she'd carry. The tabloids called it the wedding of the year. The intern who married her billionaire boss. But behind the smiles and perfect photos, she felt an unease she couldn't name. Something in Liam had changed. He was colder lately. Distant. Secretive. The man who used to leave notes in her coffee mug now barely made it home before midnight. "Are you okay?" her best friend, Kyra, asked over the phone. "You sound off." Amira forced a smile that Kyra couldn't see. "I'm fine. Just tired." Kyra hesitated. "You remember who you married, right? Liam Hart doesn't do anything without reason. If he's acting strange, it's not random." Amira hated how those words sat heavy in her chest. "You think he's hiding something?" "I think he's trying to protect something," Kyra said carefully. "Or someone." The thought sent a chill through her. She wanted to believe love was enough to anchor them. But when she looked into Liam's eyes lately, she saw storms. The next morning, the office buzzed with energy. Liam was back from a business trip, and everyone seemed to hold their breath when he walked in. Amira, now head of the creative department, tried to focus on her presentation slides, but her mind drifted when she saw her. A new face in the lobby. Long dark hair. Elegant, sharp smile. The kind of beauty that didn't fade when she blinked. The receptionist introduced her. "This is Selena Ward, the new assistant assigned to your husband's office." Amira froze. "Assigned?" "Yes. Mr. Hart requested her personally." The world tilted slightly. "Personally?" Selena turned, her voice smooth like honey. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Hart. I've heard a lot about you." Amira forced a polite smile. "All good things, I hope." "Of course," Selena replied. But her eyes said something else. Something sharp. Familiar. That night, Amira asked the question she'd been dreading. "Who is Selena Ward?" Liam didn't look up from his laptop. "My new executive assistant." "Why her?" He sighed. "Because she's qualified." "Amira, are we really doing this?" Her heart clenched. "Doing what?" "This, distrusting me every time I hire someone new." "You didn't even tell me, Liam." He closed his laptop slowly. "You're my wife, not my employee. I don't need approval for business decisions." The words stung. Not because he was wrong, but because of how easily he said them. He saw the hurt in her eyes and softened his tone. "Amira, I'm sorry. I'm just tired." She nodded, swallowing hard. "Okay." But as he kissed her forehead and whispered goodnight, something inside her shifted. For the first time, love didn't feel safe. It felt like walking barefoot through glass. 3 weeks later, Amira arrived at the office early for a presentation. Liam wasn't there yet, but Selena was sitting at his desk, scrolling through something on his computer. Amira froze in the doorway. "Selena?" Selena looked up, smiling easily. "Oh, Mrs. Hart, you startled me. What are you doing on my husband's computer?" "Just preparing the quarterly notes. He asked me to." But Amira noticed something, an open folder labeled private. The screen went dark before she could see more. Selena tilted her head. "You don't have to worry about me, Mrs. Hart. I know my place." The way she said it made Amira's skin crawl. Later that day, during a meeting, Selena handed Liam a document, her fingers brushing his hand longer than necessary. Everyone noticed. Amira's chest tightened, but she kept her expression composed. She'd learned how to smile through storms. But inside, something fragile was cracking. That evening, she returned home early. Liam's car was already in the driveway. Her heart lifted until she stepped into the house and heard voices. His voice. And hers. Amira's feet moved silently toward the study door, which was slightly ajar. "I didn't mean to make her suspicious," Selena was saying softly. "But if we're being honest, she doesn't understand you the way I do." Liam's tone was low. "Selena, stop. This conversation shouldn't be happening." "Then why haven't you stopped me?" she whispered. There was silence. Then the sound of movement, too close, too intimate. Amira's breath caught. She pushed the door open. "Liam?" Her voice shook. Selena stepped back instantly, guilt flashing across her face. Liam turned sharply, his expression unreadable. "It's not what it looks like," he said. Amira stared at him, tears burning in her eyes. "Then tell me what it is." Silence. "Tell me, Liam." He didn't answer. Selena dropped her gaze, and that silence was louder than any confession. Amira felt something inside her break. "I gave up everything for us," she whispered. "And you let me drown in your promises." She turned and walked out before he could stop her. Liam stood frozen, shame and regret carved deep into his face. Selena reached for him, but he moved away. "Don't," he said coldly. "You just destroyed the only good thing I had left." Selena's eyes hardened. "Then maybe she never deserved you." Liam's glare could have burned through glass. "You don't decide that." But as he stood alone in that silent house, watching the rain start again outside, he realized, some mistakes don't wash away. They echo, they whisper, and they never forget. 3 months had passed since Amira left. Liam Hart had become a ghost in his own empire. The man who once commanded boardrooms now sat in silence during meetings, eyes distant, mind trapped in memories of what he had broken. Everywhere he turned, Amira was there. Her laughter echoing in the office corridors, her sketches framed in his private study, her scent lingering in the linen she'd folded before walking out. The press called it the Marlowe marriage meltdown. His PR team called it damage control. But Liam called it what it was, punishment. He deserved every sleepless night, every headline, every look of disappointment from the people who once admired him. He had loved her recklessly, and lost her completely. Amira, on the other hand, had vanished into quiet corners of the city. She rented a small apartment near the harbor, where the sea wind erased her tears before they could fall. She'd stopped checking social media, stopped reading the tabloids. Her world had shrunk to art, tea, and the sound of waves crashing outside her window. Yet, even in solitude, Liam's memory haunted her. Some nights, she dreamed of him, how his hand used to rest on her waist, how he'd whisper, "You're the calm in my chaos." But then she'd wake up to the cold side of the bed and remember the betrayal, the image of him standing too close to Selena. She couldn't forgive him. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Still, every painting she created told the same story, two silhouettes facing each other, separated by rain. Back at Marlowe, Selena had begun to overstep. She lingered too long in Liam's office, brought him coffee he didn't ask for, slipped compliments into conversations that no longer amused him. But Liam had changed. The warmth that once made him magnetic was gone, replaced by a quiet, dangerous calm. One morning, as she placed a file on his desk, he looked up with cold precision. "Selena." "Yes, Mr. Hart," she said, feigning innocence. "You're terminated." Her smile froze. "What?" "I said you're fired. HR will process your exit." She blinked, trying to steady her voice. "You can't." "I can." "And I just did." For a moment her mask cracked. "You're making a mistake. She left you, Liam. She's not coming back." He stood, his voice low and controlled. "You're right. She left because I failed her. But I'll spend every breath trying to make it right. You, on the other hand, were part of the reason she walked away. And I don't want your shadow in my building again." Selena's eyes darkened. "You think love will save you? You don't even know where she is." He met her gaze without flinching. "I will." As she stormed out, the silence that followed was heavy, almost sacred. Liam walked to the window and whispered to the wind, "Wait for me, Amira. I'm coming." 1 week later, a new art exhibit opened downtown. Its theme, Love After Loss. Liam had no reason to be there, until he saw the name on the poster, A. Cole. His pulse quickened. Could it be? He entered the gallery quietly, his expensive suit drawing polite nods from the crowd. But his eyes were only searching for one thing. And then he saw her, Amira, standing beside her painting. A massive canvas of two figures in a rainstorm, their hands almost touching but never meeting. She looked ethereal, softer, stronger. But the sadness in her eyes broke him all over again. He took a step closer. She turned. Their eyes met. For a long moment, time forgot how to move. "Liam," she breathed. "Amira," he whispered, voice rough. They stood there, surrounded by strangers who suddenly faded into background blur. He wanted to reach for her, but she crossed her arms, holding her ground. "What are you doing here?" "I came to see you." "This isn't your world anymore," she said quietly. He took another step. "Then let me earn my way back into it." Her lips trembled. "You can't fix everything with words, Liam." "I know," he said. "But I can start with the truth." She hesitated. "Then tell me why. Why did you let her get so close?" Liam exhaled slowly. "Because I was arrogant. I thought I could handle admiration without consequence. I was wrong. But I never touched her, Amira. I swear on everything that matters." She studied his face, searching for cracks in his voice. But all she saw was sincerity and exhaustion. Still, pain made her walls high. "Do you know what hurt the most? It wasn't seeing you with her. It was realizing you didn't fight for me. You let me walk away." His voice broke. "Because I thought you needed space. I thought giving you peace was love. But now I know, love fights. Even when it's bleeding." For a heartbeat, the air between them pulsed with everything unsaid. And then, applause erupted as a guest approached her painting, breaking the moment. Amira stepped back, eyes glistening. "You should go, Liam." He nodded slowly. "If leaving helps you heal, I'll go. But I'll never stop believing in us." As he turned away, she whispered softly, almost to herself, "You always said forever, didn't you?" He paused at the door. "I still mean it." That night, Amira couldn't sleep. She replayed his words, his face, his voice cracking under the weight of regret. Part of her wanted to hate him forever. But part of her remembered the man who held her hand when her world fell apart, who loved her with unspoken devotion before pride got in the way. Maybe people could change. Maybe hearts could heal. Or maybe she was just foolish enough to hope again. 2 days later, a storm rolled across the city, the same kind that once brought them together. Amira stood by her window, watching lightning trace the clouds. A knock on the door startled her. When she opened it, Liam stood there, soaked, breathless, holding something in his hand. A sketchbook. Her sketchbook. The one she left behind. "You kept it?" she asked softly. "I kept everything." She took it, fingers brushing his. The electricity between them was undeniable. "Why are you here, Liam?" He met her eyes. "Because I can't keep pretending I'm alive without you." Her voice trembled. "You broke me. And I'll spend forever rebuilding you," he said. Tears welled in her eyes. "You can't promise that." He took her hand. "I already did. On our wedding day." For a long, fragile moment, neither spoke. The rain poured harder, drumming against the windows like fate demanding an answer. Finally, she whispered, "If I let you in, you can't ever make me question us again." He nodded. "Then I'll spend my life proving it." Amira stepped aside. "Come in." He did, slowly, reverently. And as the door closed behind them, thunder echoed outside, like the universe applauding a love too stubborn to die. But love, no matter how strong, never walks alone. As Amira and Liam sat together, finally breathing in peace, a phone rang across town. Selena's phone. A male voice spoke from the other end. Cool. Calculated. She took him back? Yes, Selena said bitterly, but not for long. I told you they can't survive the next storm. The man chuckled darkly. Then let's make sure this one destroys them both. Selena smiled, eyes glinting through the dark. Consider it done.